Okay, let's see if I can actually get this video recorded because, oh my god. This is take number 6. So, hi everybody. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jenna. This is Jenna Stitches. Welcome if you are new here. If you are, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my channel. If you like it, please think about liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell because I would really appreciate that. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate that as well. So today is Sunday, January 29th, and if you are new, every Sunday I come on and show my weekly progress of everything I've worked on throughout the week. And if you're returning, you probably know that almost every week I say, I didn't really get much done this week, and then as I go through it all, I'm like, wait, yes I did. But this week I actually did not get too much done. I mean, I guess in the scheme of things, I don't know if that even made sense. I'm going with it though. I did, but not, I don't know. It's not a lot for me, I guess I'm gonna say. So I do have 3 finished projects, 1 new start and 1 whip that I'm gonna show. And I'm just gonna start off by showing the first finished project, which I do believe I've showed before. I believe I showed one of the panels of it last week. There's a piece of hair in it. And that is what I'm calling my crystal cardigan. So here it is. So this cardigan is made out of Caron crystal cakes. These were limited time only. I believe they came out in the 2021 winter season. I could be wrong. But they aren't available anymore. But the red is called Claret. And I used a whole one of these and I don't know, maybe about a quarter of this one. And they are a medium number 4, 64% acrylic, 24% polyester, 7% nylon, 5% metallic. And again, I used a full one and maybe a quarter of this one. And then the black, I have another one somewhere, but I don't know where it is. It's somewhere back there. But it's called Lava Rocks. And I used the entire one for this. And then there was a very little bit left over that I made a hat out of, which I'll show next. But there it is. I am in love with it. Oh, there's a piece of yarn stuck to it. It's very nice. And warm. It's soft. I know some people didn't like the crystal cakes. They said it felt kind of scratchy because of the metallic. I honestly don't feel it. It's just soft to me. And I just wore it outside, and it's currently 32 outside, and I was nice and toasty. I mean, not toasty, but I wasn't cold. So I definitely love it. And I didn't follow a pattern or anything for it. I took the basic concept of a granny hexagon cardigan like this one back here that Sally is wearing that I made a few weeks ago, and did the same thing, except I made a solid granny square rather than a traditional granny square. So it's still the same concept. You still make a hexagon square until it's as big as you need it to be, and then seam it all together. But I just kind of went with what I learned from that and made a cardigan out of it. So I love it so much. And then with the little bit of black or lava rock that I had left, I just made a very basic beanie. I had maybe that much left after I was done making the beanie that I cut off. So I used that whole entire skein to make the cardigan and to make this. It does look pretty short, but it fits my head okay. Like, it covers my ears. So I think like a child or teen or, you know, a smaller adult head would fit fine. Get behind my ear, thank you. But all I did was make double crochets. So I started at the top and increased until it was the width, radius, circumference, one of the 3 that I wanted, and then I just double crocheted down till, well, honestly, till I was out of yarn, because I probably would have made it a few rows longer if I could have, But as you just saw, it fits me completely fine. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But knowing that it fits me, it will definitely fit another human's head. And even though it is just a simple double crochet, I think that works really well with this yarn because of how sparkly it is and everything. And I'm counting it as a hat for the week because it is a hat. It's a functional hat. So I do have a plan to make a hat, one hat a week throughout the year, and so far I've kept up with that. So that is my fourth hat for the week, or for the month. So that was the second finished project, and then the third finished project, I can't remember if I showed it or not, because I know I didn't have much of it done last week at all, so I don't remember if I showed it, but I know I showed the sister of it. So I made a baby cardigan, same exact style, and then I made this one, which hopefully will fit a 3-year-old. And if I could get it to lay right, there we go. So there is that, and I think I briefly explained this in the video where I showed the baby one. The tutorial I was watching, while it is really good, the only direction you really get on sizes is in the video. She makes it for a 1 to 2-year-old with an eye hook. If you want to make it for like 3 to 4, you go up half a hook size, so a J hook. If you want to make it smaller, you go down a hook size. So you're still following the same stitch counts, regardless what size you're making it for. You're just changing the hook size. And I did go with a J hook, which is what the pattern called for, or the tutorial called for the 3 to 4-year-old, but I don't have a 3 to 4-year-old to reference it to. So I don't know, that I guess that part just kind of worries me. I mean, I trust that it will work out right. It looks to me like it would work out right, but I'm just a little worried because I don't have a 3-year-old body to reference it to. Also, in the tutorial, she doesn't really give you a like recommended stopping point for the length. She just says keep going until you think it's a good length. And when you don't have a 3-year-old's body to reference that to, it's kind of hard to gauge. So I just kept going till I think it looked long enough. And I know it's hard to tell on camera if it will be big enough, but I'm hoping it will. And I don't know if you can tell. Actually, from this angle, you can't really tell. If I hold it up closer, you probably can. The yellows don't match. It's really hard to tell now. It was very noticeable when I tried to record this morning. But now that it's kind of dark in here and I'm just using my ring light, it's really hard to see the difference, which is good. But I ran out of the bright yellow that I was using to make it, and I had to get more. And sidetrack story time, not really anything to do with the yarn itself. I mean, the yarn itself brought up the story though. So I ran out of the bright yellow like Friday night, I think. So I was going to go grab it Saturday morning. They had it in stock at my local Walmart, which is about, I don't know, 11, 12 minutes away. But I also had to go to Sally's, which is in another town that's about 25, 30 minutes away, to get my hair stuff. The Sally's that I go to is in the same plaza that Michael's is at. And I told my kids we could go to Target with that. And Target's in the same plaza. But that is irrelevant to it. So after we went to Sally's, I was like, well, I'll check Michael's to see if they have it. Which I didn't think they would. And it said online that they didn't. Because my Michael's, really any Michael's that I can think of, doesn't really carry Red Heart. And if they do, it's only a few colors. So I didn't expect them to have it. But I had $10 in Michael's cash. I still do. So I was like, well, if they have it, then I don't actually have to spend any money on this. If they don't have it, I'll just grab one of the blossom cakes, or, well, no, it would have been a blossom cake, or a cinnamon swirl cake, because they are $12.99 with $10 off. It would be $2.99, and I'm okay with that. So even if I had to spend a couple of dollars, it's better than spending the full $12.99. So I was like, well, if they don't have the bright yellow that I need, I'll just grab one of those. Because I definitely, sorry about that, want to get more blossom cakes. So I went into my Michaels, and of course they don't have the bright yellow, which again, I kind of knew. They didn't have any red heart at all. And I know I was in there maybe beginning of December, and they did have red heart because the baby blanket I made for a coworker of mine, I gave her the option of pink and red heart or pink and craft smart. Like, I know she went with pink and craft smart, but they had the pink and red heart because I took a picture of it and sent it to her. They have no red heart at all. Also, when you walked into it before, they had one like shelving unit that sits in the middle of the aisle that had like their clearance yarn on it, and then they had another one behind it that had new yarn on it. So that's where the Caring Cakes should be if they had them. They didn't even have any of the new Caring Cakes, and that second shelf that always has the new yarn on it is gone. It's now books, which was, I mean, kind of cool. It had a lot of crochet books on there that I've never seen like out in the public before. Like the Crochet Cafe one that has like a bunch of amigurumi food in it. That was there, and I've never seen it there before. So that was kind of cool. And some magazines, which they've never had before. But also that whole shelf used to be yarn, and it's not anymore. Then the one aisle that is full of yarn used to be about half Caring Cakes, like all different kinds, and then half other yarn. Now it's maybe like a quarter Caring Cakes. They really don't have any at all. And then the whole rest of the shelf all the way down to the end was bulky, or not bulky, jumbo number 7 blanket yarn. So like the Bernat Blanket Big, the Loops and Threads, I think it's called Sweet Snuggles. Like, and that stuff takes up a lot of room, so you know there's not that much yarn there. The whole other side was a lot of the chunkier yarn too, and a little bit of cotton yarn. And then to go around the other side, the whole one side of the shelf is yarn, but then it's only about a quarter of the other side, which used to be a whole shelf. Then it went down to half. Now it's down to a quarter. And the side on that side, that's the full side of yarn, is very bare. Like the whole aisle is filled with yarn, but none of them are fully stocked. So that kind of worries me. I know a couple people have said recently that the yarn aisles in Michael's are shrinking, and it's happening at mine too. And it kind of makes me sad because I know I've said before, like I have a Michael's about 55 minutes that way. I have a Michael's 55 minutes that way. And then I have my Michael's that's 25 minutes that way. And I consider that one my Michael's because it's the closest one, and it's actually my favorite one out of all of them. And it seems like I might not be able to go there anymore, which sucks. And for a lot of people who were saying like, oh wow, you have to drive that far to get to places, that's really normal for me. I live in a very small town. We literally have one grocery store and like $4 stores, and that's it. The closest Walmart even is the next town over, and even that town doesn't have anything. They have Walmart, and then they have another grocery store and a couple dollar stores, and that's it too. So to get to any type of craft store, I do have to travel a distance, and that's normal for me. I've lived in this town or the next town over my entire life, so I'm very, very used to having to drive into the cities to get stuff, whatever it may be. So to me, it's not a big deal at all to have to drive that far, and I actually kind of enjoy it. And when you grow up that way, driving an hour to go get something just is normal. So it doesn't really bother me too much, but I really did enjoy that Michael's. It's a very small Michael's, but they always had what I wanted, even compared to the bigger ones when I get out to the cities. But they also had a Joann's in that town that just closed, and I'm not sure if it's completely closed yet or in the process of closing, but I know even before they closed, they never had any yarn. They literally had 2 like wire racks about that wide and like 3 shelves, I think, or 3 racks full of yarn, and that was it. So I never went there, so not a big deal that it closed. But now to go to Joann's, I will have to go either direction an hour or 2, which again is fine. Just makes me really sad about my Michael's. I told my husband that night, I was like, it's pretty sad when your local yarn store is going to be Walmart, because I'm not going to consider the ones that are hours away local, even though they're the closest ones to me. And my Walmart doesn't even have a really good selection of yarn either. I'm really shocked that they had what I needed. They have a very small yarn aisle, but thankfully they did. But yeah, I found that kind of sad. So those are the finished projects I had. All three of them were, well, except for the hat, whips that I've been working on. I've been lately not showing the progress on some of my whips throughout the week because I'm not making too much progress on them. So you might see them from like the start to already finished. I'm not showing them in between too much. So again, I can't remember if I even showed the toddler cardigan because I didn't have much done on it last week, but it didn't take too long. I basically made the whole thing Friday, and I believe I showed the crystal cardigan. Then the only other project that you've seen before that I got any progress on is my tilted tunic that I've been making. Again, I don't know who this pattern's by. I don't know why I always forget, but I'll make sure it's linked down below. And I really didn't get much progress done on this either. I've been working on it all day today. I just have not been crocheting much at all. So when we last saw it, I had just finished section 4, which is where you stop increasing, and when you start section 5, you actually start working in the round. So all the way sections 1 through 4 are worked in panels and in rows, and then you connect it at the start of section 5 and start working in the round. And if you can see, this is where I connected it. So I've gotten that much of it done today. So from there down to here, I think I just pulled out a stitch, but I'm just not feeling it, and I think it's just because that's kind of the mood I've been in lately. Nothing wrong with the pattern. I love it. It's not that I wasn't enjoying working on it. It's just that's the kind of mood I've been in this week with crochet, is I'm just not feeling any of it. So I got a little bit of progress done on it, but not much. I did get a little progress. My eye itches bad, sorry. On the 4 blanket that I'm making for my 2 co-workers that are getting married in May, but I got, like 2 rounds completed, so it's not going to look any different than the last time you saw it. So I figured I'll just wait until I get more progress on it to show it. But my goal is to get 10 rows of each of the 2 big blankets that I'm working on done a week. I didn't even touch either of them. So I don't have those to show. But I do plan on working on both of those, hopefully exclusively throughout the week. Like, I do have other stuff I need to work on too. But I want to have both of those blankets my focus throughout this week and kind of catch up those rows I didn't get done last week and this week now. But I did start a new project just because, as I've mentioned before, I keep saying a lot. Like a lot more than I usually do. I like to work on a project while I'm working. I know I've mentioned that many times before, and I like to have a small project that I don't really have to focus on too much. So I started making a bag, and if you watch my Hobby Lobby haul, I showed the yarn that I'd be making the bag out of. But this is kind of what I'm going with. So I made 13 of these so far. Not all of them have the black on them yet, but I did make all the beginning circles, and then I put the second row on all of them. I think I got maybe 6 with the black on. I still got to do the black border on the other ones, but this is what I'm going with. So they will all alternate, green in the center, purple on the outside, or purple in the center, green on the outside. I think I went with 6 this way and 7 this way. I had that backwards because I do like the green a little bit more than the purple. And I'm not really I'm not really sure about the construction I'm gonna do yet. I was originally gonna do the way I put the bags together when I make my sunflower bags, so it's kind of like a V at the top and it kind of V's at the bottom too. But I'm thinking I might just make like a rectangle bag too. I'm not really sure yet. So I have 13 of the centers made. I just got to put the black on some of them, and I might start putting it together and kind of see how I want it put together. I might need more. I don't know. But I did start that, and you know, it's a very mindless project, especially making the inside. The border I did 2 treble crochet, chain 2 treble crochet in the corners, and then I did 2 doubles, a half double, and 2 doubles leading up to the other corner. So that I had to pay a little bit of attention to, but still nothing too tricky. So I could definitely work on these and not really focus on what I'm doing. And that is all I got to show you guys. So still made a 20-minute video with not much, but yeah. Also, I wanted to ask everybody's opinion. I think I'm going to do this either way, just for myself, but I wanted your guys' opinion on it. So I am keeping track of all the projects I'm making throughout the year. I have this crochet project planner that I got from Erin at Crafting Kitty, where I can plan out like what I'm going to work on throughout the weeks and months and what kind of supplies I need. I have showed it a couple times, so I actually, if I can find the week, so I think that's the first week of January, but I wrote down which projects I wanted to work on or how much, and then I can kind of color in the bubble as I go. I also have another book that I don't think I've showed at all, but I am writing down all the projects I'm working on throughout the year. So with that one, I write like the name of the project, when I started it, when I finished it, what hook I used, what yarn I used. And so far for January, which we only got a couple days left, I have done, I think I hit my tripod and now it's crooked. Oh well. I think I've started either 19 or 20 projects, and I've finished 13 or 14 of those. So I was thinking either making a video where I like detail go through it, like here's this project that I started, here are the ones I finished, and show them kind of like I do in my weekly progress videos, or just kind of making a slideshow video of everything I've finished throughout the month. Not necessarily anything that's still a WIP, but all the finished projects that I can actually like take a photo of and just make a slideshow. So what would you prefer? Would you prefer maybe like this Wednesday coming up having, and I can't guarantee that I'll make a video on Wednesday, but that's just February 1st. So like having me talk about all the finished projects and what, but I already kind of do that with my weekly progress, or just seeing a slideshow of them. So yeah, that's kind of my plan. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now because we're at 23 minutes. So I hope everybody had a great week last week and had a great weekend and has a great week ahead of them. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.